Should insecurities be the reason why you sleep with your partner? I mean, listen, we've got to talk about these type of things because really and truly, these things you can even say that are somewhat abusive. You could say these things are actually underneath the whole idea of, let's just say, grape. I don't mean to go extreme in the way I've started the video, but based on what I'm about to show you, this actually blew my mind. It blew my mind because I'm not the only person that watched 90 Day Diaries. And the fact that this isn't a conversation, I'm like, why not? So let's get into exactly what happened with Patrick and Thias in the most recent episode of 90 Day Diaries and the insecurities that he has around his wife. And ladies and gentlemen, his wife.
I'd rather work myself to death than you show off your body to a bunch of horny guys for money.
Trust me.
Come on, I'm not gonna talk about this right now.
Yeah, because I always run from the problems. Really frustrating for me that I could help at home, I could help with the bills, and because of trust issues.
Let's stop right there because of trust issues. So first and foremost, Thias wants to, go back into modeling. Modeling is what she did. She wants to go back there. And she also wants to, I guess, bring some money into the house. Which, to be fair, that surprised me because let's be real. From the moment that we met these two, it was very clear that she was looking for a man to basically provide for her life financially. And it was very, very clear that Patrick was definitely looking for a woman that he could provide for financially, so therefore a woman who wouldn't have to work. But of course, at the same time, it was always a question of, but why did he want a woman like that? I guess it was easy for us to assume why she wanted that lifestyle. But then obviously in this little clip here, or this episode, this is when it really got defined in my eyes. Because you see, because his ex cheated on him, he's a man that is worried that his woman may end up cheating on him if she was to go and get a job and work around men. If she was to become a model again, then she may get many men in her DM sliding in asking for her attention. Now, these things, in my opinion, are not a reason to not trust your current wife. Just because somebody in the past cheated on you, it doesn't mean that you then treat the person you're with now the same way just because of that person. The question is, has Thias done anything that has done him wrong? No. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the one that kissed a whole other girl when he first met Thias. Do you see what I'm saying? So if anything, when it comes to the trust issues, they should be coming from Thias rather than coming from Patrick. But hey, he wants to use this against her and why she cannot go and get a job. It's a shame because really and truly now, she's being kept somewhat of a prisoner, right? But let's get into exactly what else develops.
We have to have sex. Because every time we don't have sex, he always thinks that I am cheating on him.
Now, this is why the introduction of this video was the way it was, because then we got to this point here where she's saying that basically they have to have intimacy, because if they don't have intimacy, then he will start to pretty much accuse her of cheating. I'm sorry, but isn't that a form of manipulation towards your partner to say that you must give me intimacy, otherwise you're doing this and that? Doesn't that mean that whenever they actually do get it down, it's not based on love, it's not based on emotions, it's not based on the fact that the mood is just right? In fact, we can also say and argue that they've probably only ever made love maybe very minimal times in her relationship, because the whole idea of intimacy for them is due to his own insecurities. So she must open her legs, she must get on all fours just because this man may accuse her of what? The question still remains, has Thias ever done anything remotely close to make him believe that she's going to step out? For my recollection, based on what we see in the show, she has never done that. So to put her in this position is absolutely absurd. But let's just say, for example, yes, there's been a chance, there's been a point where maybe she has shown signs of infidelity. But then do you know what you do in that situation? You leave the partner that you're with because you don't trust them no more. You don't put them in this predicament or this situation where you're now going to ruin the whole idea of what sex is supposed to be between two people. Because that's what he's done here. And like I said before, if your woman is now having to pleasure you out of fear that you may accuse of cheating, this is why I mentioned the word grape. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Because I'll have you know this, ladies and gentlemen, up until I believe 1999 or maybe 98, 97, I can't remember which it is. I know in the UK, it was a law where men were legally allowed to sleep with their women without their women's consent. Okay? So they were allowed to pretty much perform the rape against their own wives, which is something that I understand even happens in other cultures till this day, other religions till this day. I won't name them because, boy, I don't want to get myself in a sticky situation. But hey, if you know, you know.
Patrick, trauma from, past relationship that he had, cheating relationships, it's really affecting our marriage. It was something fun. Now it's like, it's a task for us. And it's crazy, like how he became so insecure.
And it is crazy because obviously she's saying that it's crazy how he's become insecure. So ladies and gentlemen, let's just put this out here right now. This is a man that has chosen to become more and more insecure the more time has gone by. Is that okay? Is that okay? I mean, ladies, let me know. Let me know. Could you be in a relationship with a man that you must pleasure due to his own insecurities? How would that make you feel? I need to know, how would that make you feel? To know that each time you get intimate with him, it's not because you're in the mood. It's not because you want to. It's because you feel like you have to. And let's be real. Let's be real. There is no better form of intimacy than the intimacy you have with somebody that you have a connection with. Because of course, when you have that emotional connection to that person and you know that the mood is always right because that person's always set in the mood or you're always set in the mood, you know that when you get it down, it doesn't matter whether it's the slow, passionate, or whether it's just maybe I've had a long day, you know what I'm saying? Either way, it's gonna feel good because you're both in the same place where you both respect each other in that way. You're not doing it just because of this. It makes me worried and concerned about how this man was raised.
See divorce. And he doesn't even see it.
So of my past relationship, I definitely get anxious if I feel like we're not close. Yeah, so when we go a couple days and there's no sex, maybe I get a little anxious.
Maybe he gets a little bit anxious. That's not what your wife is saying. Your wife is saying that she's going to give it to you, otherwise you will become anxious. This woman is opening her legs out of fear, and the thing is, there is a part where she does actually say, I didn't put it in here because I just couldn't fit in because of copyright, but she does say that intimacy with him has not felt like natural for a long time. She said that, sex is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be loving, and she hasn't had that in a long time. So the question is he listening to how his wife is feeling? Is he listening to how he's making her feel? Because if this man truly does love her, then he needs to put his own issues to the side and really think about how he's making his wife feel. And also on top of that, he's actually in therapy from what I understand. That's what they said here. I mean, if he's in therapy, then what the hell was his therapist doing? Because his therapist ain't doing shit. Absolutely nada. So listen, the question does really ask, do you think that I'm reaching? Do you think that I'm being over the top with what I'm saying? Or do you think that I'm in every right to say what I'm saying? But let's not get it twisted though. I'm not saying that this man is raping his wife. I'm not saying that in any shape or form. I'm saying what it looks like. I'm not saying he's manipulating her to have intimacy with her. I'm saying what it looks like. And then I'm asking the question, if you are a woman, even if you're a man for that matter, and you are put in the same position as Dias, how would you feel? That is the question that I'm asking. No accusations, just the question. Let me know your thoughts down below. And also on top of that, her friends did say that this behavior that he's doing right now is the behavior that can put them in a position where divorce may even happen. And to be honest with you, I think many people would have probably gone down that route by now. Because let's not get it twisted, and this is something that isn't spoken about. There is a certain category of women, from the moment that they are raised, from predominantly by their mothers, they are raised to believe that your goal is to be as beautiful as F, so you can attract a man with all the money in the world, so that he can look after you financially, and then you can just enjoy your life. Now, there are women who do live that life, but you know what? But you know what isn't spoken about though when it comes to these type of women? Some of these women actually end up having affairs with other men because they recognize that they're only in a marriage due to the fact that they were told that they need to find someone secure financially. And then what happens is they start to recognize that their emotions aren't even connected to this dude. So therefore they end up having a little, do you know what I'm saying? A little Bible on the side, you see what I'm saying? Someone who can really give them the smack down, who can really make them feel that, you see what I'm saying? And that's just something that I'm just going to put out there, okay? Because boy, ladies, all I'm saying is this: if you're looking to be with a man just because he provides for you, expect to never be loved. That's all I can say for that. Because now, really and truly, it also brings the question: does this man really love her? Because he doesn't seem to be making her feel loved. Let me know your thoughts, folks. Let me know your thoughts. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Peace.